Welcome to Eyes Up Mother Brown, your source for alternative commentary from all of West Ham United's remaining Premier League fixtures this season. Today it's Newcastle United versus West Ham United from St James's Park as the Hammers, fresh from unexpected success against Chelsea in midweek, seek to record back-to-back victories. Eyes Up Mother Brown, your source. Always good to turn your sound down, isn't it? And not have feedback. So I was saying, West Ham looking to record back-to-back victories for the first time since David Moyes returned for a second spell at the club. And joining me here on commentary today, I'm delighted to welcome from the KUMB Forum moderators pool, the Pink Palermo.
Hi, guys.
Rio.
Good afternoon, people.
And Gnome.
Good afternoon, everyone.
There is, of course, no Bristol Hammer, DL or Chalks today. They've been sent to play for the reserves. So it's this foursome who join you this afternoon for what promises to be an intriguing contest. The teams are in. They've been in for about 50 minutes now. And unsurprisingly, perhaps for West Ham, there are no changes to the side that beat Chelsea on Wednesday night in Stratford. And I'm going to pass you over now to Gnome, who's going to take us through the starting 11s, or West Ham's at least.
No, I've got them both now.
Excellent.
Yeah, so the home side line up with Dubravka, Kraft, Lascelles, Hernandez, Manquillo, Shelvey, Hayden, Saint-Maximin, Almiron, Joelinton and Gale. And as you said, we are unchanged from midweek, which means we line up with Fabianski, Fredericks, Diop, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Soucek, Rice, Bowen, Fornals, Lanzini and Antonio. One change on the what we still refer to as the bench, although it's probably not the right thing to call it, but we've got Masuaku's made a return to availability. So on the bench we have Balbuena, Yarmolenko, Noble, Wilshere, Masuaku, Ajeti, Costa Silva, Randolph and Johnson. No sign of Heller yet. Perhaps he's been repossessed by those guys on those documentaries. Yeah, or at least he's been clamped.
Yes, interesting. Pinky, of course. You should be resting on your laurels, and rightfully so, sir, for suggesting that there was something amiss there a couple of weeks ago with the Hilaire situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure you've got to be any great soothsayer to, predict that West Ham are skint. And that's usually at the heart of a number of our problems. And I guess there's a debate in there somewhere between, did the player get injured and then we decide not to pay Frankfurt on the basis of, well, we can't play him, so we'll hang on to the cash for now?
Yep.
Or was it the other way around? But it's a pretty shabby state of affairs, really. Risking a FIFA transfer ban for non-payment. And, it's all well and good Karen Brady whinging about Italian clubs not paying for players. And then we go and do exactly the same. So, it doesn't reflect well on the club, I'm afraid.
Absolutely not. Haller, of course, missing for a fourth consecutive game. Antonio, who did so well against Chelsea on Wednesday night, filling in once again. But we think, gentlemen, there's two real key battles that we're going to see in this game. Rio, if I can ask you first about Fredericks and Newcastle's really most informed player, Saint-Maximin, who's created 3 of the 4 goals against Bournemouth in their last outing.
Yeah, it's going to be a really key issue for us. In the home game, he absolutely tore us apart in the first half, especially.
Yeah,
dealing with his pace is going to be a really, really tough thing. It's actually kind of glad that Fredericks is the one there, because if it had been Zabletta while he was still here, or the youngster, he might not have been able to deal with it. But yeah, pace against pace is going to be a really key issue.
Okay, thank you. Pinky, midfield was fantastic on Wednesday against Chelsea. Rice and Soucek in particular were very, very strong. Took the game by the scruff of the neck. I think between us, we had 3 of our 4 shouts were for one of those 2 as man of the match. They're up against a very different proposition tonight, this afternoon. Sorry, not tonight. In John Joe Shelvey and Isaac Hayden. Do you see that as being key to the outcome of this afternoon's game?
Yeah, I think the middle of the park is where most games are won or lost.
Yep.
And a player like Shelvey, he tends to raise his game when he plays against us. He does it time and again. I wouldn't be surprised to see him chip in with a goal for Newcastle United will certainly have a crack from a free kick if they get one within shooting range. But I think the extra physicality that Souček is bringing to the side in, dare I say it, the Fellaini role for David Moyes' boys, I think will really help us. And I think it's no coincidence that a club like Chelsea now are sniffing around players with perhaps greater physicality. Yeah, they've got the all running Kante in the defensive midfield role, but actually he is a little bit vertically challenged, and I think a number of clubs just prefer their defensive midfielders just to be a bit taller these days. And so I think Souček, if he plays as well today as he did on Wednesday, will just have the edge in the middle of the park. Him and Rice, I think, will just win it.
Good stuff. I think one of the reasons that we looked at Souček and initially brought him in was for his aerial prowess, and that certainly showed against Chelsea with one disallowed and one scored. Just quickly, gentlemen, before we go on, a quick look at your predictions before we start. Rio, you have us down for a 2-1 win today. Now, obviously, we gave these predictions before the Chelsea game, but are you happy to stick with that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think fitness has been an issue, but yeah.
Good stuff. Pinky, you had us down for a 1-0 win. Oh, sorry, Rio, I've got this all wrong. You had us down for a 2-1 defeat. I'm reading my own notes incorrectly here.
Yeah, I thought that sounded a bit optimistic, but yeah. I'll go for a draw if you don't mind.
Okay. Sorry about that. Pinky, you had us down for a win today, didn't you? You had us down for a 1-0 success.
Yeah, and I'd go stronger than that now. I think I'm feeling quite confident today. I think maybe win by a 2-goal margin today, which will be, a good result for us. It's not a happy hunting ground in recent years for us, St James's Park. And as I sit here now, 280 miles away, it's just like actually being in the ground up there, because you're looking at a stand in St James's Park. It's a similar distance, really.
Yeah, you might be marginally closer in your neck of the woods. Gnome and I both went for goalless draws. I'd be reasonably happy with that, I think, today. Gnome, yourself?
Yeah, I think I might revise it to 1-1, but as I'm being messaged by my best friend while I'm trying to do this, best friend that used to be chairman of the Newcastle Supporters Club. So, Craigsy, if you're watching, mate, bugger off. And but I think it might be 1-1. I still think it'd be a draw, but it might not be 0-0.
Okay, late amendment for Gnome's prediction. I'm going to stick with 0-0. I'd be quite happy with that, I think, at the moment. So going into this game, the key issue, I think, not only the points, which was obviously vital on Wednesday, but Rio, huge increase in confidence for West Ham, yes, as a consequence of that win.
Absolutely, yeah. Not just for the team, for the support and all. Everyone seems a bit more buoyant, a lot more happier, and let's just hope we continue the motivation and just get in amongst it and keep to what we did on Wednesday really well.
Yeah, and also, Pinky, looking at the results prior to this afternoon's kickoff, Bournemouth, another drubbing for them at Manchester United yesterday, 9 goals conceded in 2 outings for them. It's looking very difficult for them. Brighton, probably safe now, we think, with that win over Norwich. Are we still looking around the 36, 37 point mark, do you think, for safety this season for West Ham?
Yeah, I would think so. And for my money, Bournemouth are gone now, Norwich are gone. And it's basically us, Watford, Aston Villa in the mixer. And I'd say of those 3, we're probably the most likely to get out of it. So, as long as we don't have a bad defeat here today, even a point is a good result. I think we did the hard work midweek, and it's gonna really help us.
Excellent.
We're
Thank
underway,
you.
by the way, gentlemen. Just as a point of trivia, Sky's commentator today is Ian Crocker, who, of course, used to be the announcer at the bowling ground many years ago, and normally deals with Scotland, so it's going to have to be a little bit careful to be not biased on this commentary. But
the things you must have learned in lockdown. No,
I used to know Ian a while back. We both used to do hospital radio together a while back, so that's how I know Ian. So
There you go. No,
It's-
contacts in all corners of the world. When was this? No,
Radio Moorfield.
I can go back as far as Jeremy Nicholas, so I'm guessing that was prior to Jeremy's stint in the seat.
Had he finished on Kojak at the time, or is that a different Crocker?
So we just want to throw in deep, and I'm trying to do three things at once here. Yeah, it was Ian Crocker. Then he left. He was working. He used to work on Radio 2 for a living, and he went to Eurosport to do football commentary. A chap called Colin Scammell, who I knew two ways, both through Hospital Radio, and we both worked for Midland Bank at the time. Did it for a while, and I think we ended up with Jeremy after a couple of others whose names elude me.
There you go. A potted history of West Ham's presenters over the years. We are, of course, latest one was DJ Russ, who has been interviewing everybody for their favourite 11s recently, which Gnome and I have already participated in. I'm sure you'll be.
Rio's done it, haven't you?
Oh, did you do it too, Rio?
No.
We're on the attack. Oh, it's just broken down there. It was. Yeah, so there was a run through, but we didn't really control it. So as you were.
Okay, decent start. Anyway, Rio, are we lining up in a similar way to how we did on Wednesday against Chelsea?
Yeah, it looks identical. Same formation, same system. Look, hit them on the break again. I think we'll have a lot more possession of you again, obviously against these lot. But yeah, it's pretty similar setup.
Good stuff. A few hellos from the chat on YouTube already. Steve Palmer says, good afternoon. How you doing, Steve? Good to have you back. Neil from Down Under, back again. 10:40 p.m. Neil tells us in Australia, South Australia right now. So probably a little bit better than the early hours of the morning, I guess. Hi, Steve. Good to see you. Marky B-Bar, you four look like the same bloke in different stages of a hangover. Fair point, I guess. Lewis, good to have you back, Lewis. Lewis says, I remember Ian Crocker on Capital Gold Sport. So presumably before
he told
he
me a great story about his days at Eurosport, where he started doing commentary on the Bundesliga, and he'd have as we push him forward, we'll come back to
Great ball.
balls played inside. Bowen.
Come on!
Yes! It's Antonio.
We have taken just 4 minutes and we've got one on the board. Amazing stuff. Pinky, talk us through the goal, please.
Yeah, I mean, it was pick up a ball in our own half, we win it, we play it through the middle, couple of good passes. Lanzini, who I thought held on to the ball a bit too long, but he played a lovely ball down the right channel. Cross came in from Bowen. Antonio, I mean, who won't get an easier chance in his life than that. I mean, it's 3 yards out and he just buried it. I mean, great finish,
It's a shocking error. I'm not quite sure who that is who missed the centre there, but it's an absolutely horrendous mistake that afforded Antonio the opportunity, Rio.
Yeah, no, that's a woeful piece of defending, but who are we to complain?
Oh, right.
His agent's on the phone to Mr. Sullivan as we speak. That's the sort of
He's Lascelles who made the error.
Gnome, I've timed that goal at 3 minutes and 26 seconds. When was the last time we scored a goal quicker than that?
I can't remember. Have we scored a goal quicker than that ever?
Oh, definitely.
If anyone knows the answer, let us know on the KUMB Forum match thread or via YouTube chat. When was the last time West Ham scored a goal quicker than 3 minutes and 26 seconds? It doesn't matter for now. We're ahead. What a fantastic start. Bodes well, Pinky, yes?
Absolutely. And we spoke about confidence on Wednesday night and the difference it can make to a team. And clearly, the guys seem a bit more comfortable on the ball. And I think having the settled side, I mean, it's only 2 games in a row, but to actually start with the same 11 2 weeks running, we've not done that too often in recent times. And I think it makes a huge, huge difference. So I'm quite happy with what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think that it is very infrequent that teams do that, isn't it? I mean, given the desire to, have fresh legs, give players rests, Rio, you don't often see that these days, do you? The same team going out 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. Not like perhaps when you or I were growing up, and you might get. I mean, I think I recall, and Gnome or Pinky will correct me if I'm wrong here too, but I think when Liverpool won the title in the late 70s, they only used 14 or 15 players for the entire season.
Yeah.
14. Yeah.
14 was it? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a good sign. Yes, we know. I mean, that's got to help.
Thomas. Newcastle looking dangerous at the moment, but well, they've got another chance to cross it, but it's cleared away. It's on the ball, but it's we're keeping him out there at the moment. That's good defending, and from well, everyone really, but Fredericks kept him out there nicely. So
yeah, West Ham keeping it very tight at the back. Some good challenges gone in so far to keep Newcastle at bay. We said this on Wednesday, Rio, how important it is after you've scored to, remain on the ball, as it were, and not switch off. Important once again today, no doubt, for the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just things that will settle down a little bit. Obviously, having the same lineup as we were discussing a moment ago really helps. And I think another big plus point is the fact that after chopping and changing our central defensive pairing, ever since the restart, we've got Ogbonna and Diop back together again for the second game running. And Ogbonna's influence this season has been immense. I think that really helps Diop there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Gnome, Ogbonna still front runner for Player of the Year, do you think, this season?
So just going to step away from that.
Yep.
There's Newcastle just had a shout for a penalty. Shelvey manufactured a little space for himself on the edge of the box and drove in, and I think it was Ogbonna. His hand was slightly away from his side, and I think it's one of those where it was driven at pace as Newcastle put the ball over and wide. And they're just going to show it again. Let's have a look at that. It's no, I don't think it did hit his hand. His hand was in the vicinity, but I think it's actually hit him on the thigh. So fair play. That's not. Okay. Well, actually, I don't know from that angle. But he's trying to get his hand out of the way rather than play it.
Look, we've seen them given. Let's put it that way. And
they've still got another 10 minutes to draw that back for VAR. Don't worry.
Well, of course, the rule now is if the ball hits the hand, it's. I mean, we can see Ogbonna trying to draw his arm out the way, but I think the rule is now, isn't it, that if it hits
only on the attack, only on the attack, you can disallow a goal for that. We've just given away a free kick just outside the box where Ogbonna seems to have pulled down. I think it's Gale he's pulled down there. Gale went down very easily, let's put it that way. But it's a dangerous position, I'd say, just right of centre, and we're looking at about 24 yards out, something like that.
Okay.
Gale's looking over it, I think, at the moment, which is maybe an unusual choice, but
yeah, Ogbonna involved again there, known for the second time in a matter of seconds.
We're just lining up the wall now, and right, I think, yep. So there we go. It's 24 yards exactly out. I would make that, judging by the cut of the grass. And Gale shoots along the ground. Oh, Fabianski spills slightly. It went all along the ground, and Fabianski got behind it and kept it out, but it was an untidy save. It came off as the wall jumped, as they tend to, and it came off the foot of somebody in the wall. So we survive anyway, and we're moving out now.
Good stuff. 10 minutes successfully navigated here. West Ham lead 1-0. I'm trying to recall, was it Ronaldo who scored a free kick like that when the ball jumped in the air and Rio only rolled it just underneath? Can you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it. I'm sure of it now. I think Thierry Henry did it one occasion as well.
Yeah, madness. But anyway, it didn't affect West Ham. That's the good news. And we are leading 1-0. It's a fantastic start for those of us who are joining the stream late. Thank you for coming on, first of all. But the good news...
Another shot there.
Yep, go on, Gnome.
Longish cross from, is that on the left? Is that maybe Rice, I think, to Antonio, who basically did well to get anything on it. And it was sort of half a shot, half a trying to bring it back across goal, but keeper well behind it. Comfortable save, but it's a shot on target, I think, if you're trying to keep stats on these.
Yeah, it's a difficult effort. It's come over him, and he's had to hook it back because it's really
you're
done
in the same time zone as this, Gray.
kind of. Yeah, I'm sort of. I think I'm about 15 or 20 seconds behind, but probably not as bad as we have been. Pinky, it would have been something else, wouldn't it, if you'd have put that in the back of the net?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a difficult chance, but without being too critical, maybe that's why he's a £600,000 player and not a £60 million player. £60 million player leathers it and it goes in the net. Similar story for St. Maximin for Newcastle United. He looks very threatening. He's got bags and bags of pace, but perhaps lacks that final bit of quality that turns a £20 million player into a £100 million player. But there's no doubt about it. Newcastle, they're running at us all afternoon. They're full of pace. They're trying to bring the ball forward, and this is the makings of a good game. It really does, a good, entertaining game.
Yeah, it strikes me, as Rio, you were saying earlier, that we're lining up very similar to how we did on Wednesday night, especially with the shape. And I guess 1-0 up, you can afford to do that, can't you? We've got the goal. They have to break us down now. Things looking good so far, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I just noticed they haven't won Newcastle on the attack. So let's repeat that for nothing. Yeah, we seem to be pressing up a little bit higher than we did on Wednesday night, but different caliber of player, so that's kind of natural. But the more that we can get them under pressure, higher up the pitch, trying to force an error, the better.
Good stuff.
We've just seen Almiron in acres of space in the box, no one near him. He couldn't quite control the ball, but those three that they've got there in the sort of like the attacking three just behind Gale, they've got pace to burn and they've got good running in them, and we need to be very, very careful here. Newcastle got some goals in them this afternoon. There's no doubt about that. Yeah,
well, they certainly didn't struggle down at Bournemouth. 4 for them there earlier in the week, and it could have been even more. Just jumping into the chat quickly. Mitt Dizian says he's got a few mates up in Durham. Concept. We've got Travel Jamaz who says, Geordie Hammer here, fingers crossed for the win. Well, looky, it's not going so well for you, lad, Reeknell. So Jamie Penfold. Hello, Jamie. Good to see you. It's the worst Geordie accent you'll ever see. Chris Mulhall said he thought us lads would be watching in the pub Super Saturday. Good question, actually, Chris. Has anyone been in a pub yet? Pinky?
No. I didn't venture in yesterday. I thought I'd let all the rust get out the pipes and what have you first. 3 months without a pint going through them, you can catch any sort of stuff. But no, I'll give it a while yet.
Rio, you been near a pub in the last 24 hours?
I'm afraid to say I have, yeah. I ventured down to the Eastbrook, my local. Brilliant people who run the place, so I had to go there and see them and support them a little bit.
Good stuff. A couple of quick comments from the KUMB Forum match thread. Join us on there and let us know what you think of the stream, what you think of the game. If you're not on the YouTube chat, Believer says, fantastic, talking about the goal now, fantastic forward play by Antonio Bowen and Fornals, superb stuff. Hammer PDC says that was a fabulous pass by Fornals. Another player who's been really impressing us, especially in the latter half of this season, or since Christmas at least anyway. Macca, 1973, a match thread regular. What a start, he says. Sorry to keep having him Noble, but it's amazing how much quicker we move the ball without him in the team. Celador says, we sliced them open. 4 hours in midfield, set it up beautifully, and Bowen didn't get fancy, just put it into the mix. Egg Chaser sums up, I think, what we felt here on the stream. Terrible defending, but I'm not going to complain. Neither are we, my friend. Parker's here, says a lovely little inside ball from Fornals, nicely worked goal. Antonio kept his head and a good finish. So, unusually, we have a really positive atmosphere on the match thread as well. We are quarter of an hour in.
I've had an abusive message in from Rocket from KUMB, who seems to think my camera angle isn't right today and it's not showing the best side. But I think the last time I saw Rocket, it was him and Hammers Laffers. actually at St James's Park, and I think they had a few too sherbets too many. And if you're watching Laffers, top man for all your work that you've done over the last several months for the NHS, what have you. Good lads, the pair of them, Rocket and Hammers, Hammer Laffers.
Here, here. Absolutely, absolutely. Pinky, one question I did want to ask you quickly. I don't think I got the opportunity to ask you this on Wednesday night. Someone mentioned that your boomerang hasn't come back. Where's it gone?
It's actually on the sofa at the minute, you know. You can't see it, but I've actually got a Viking on top of the door at the minute. That's a tribute to the Scandinavian Islands. So, you know, just want to make sure that they're not forgotten about there up in the northern Europe area. But the boomerang shall return, rest assured.
Good stuff. And of course, the Scandinavian hammers, some of our most.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
1-1.
1-1.
Gnome.
Yeah, 1-1. Promising move went down the right, and Maximin was involved, and ball played across the middle. I'm trying to see who scored it at the moment. Almiron, yeah. Low ball, really good low ball across in. See what happens here. Yeah, Maximin plays it inside. They've got 2 against 1 down on our left. Cresswell gets drawn in, played out wide, and yeah, it's a really good ball in. Yeah, good goal, really.
Pinky, did we give them a little bit too much space down the wing there?
Too much space on the flank, but also we had more than enough bodies in the box to deal with that. And you know, I'd have to look at the 2 centre backs there and say, is it a case of each of them pointing the finger at each other? That's the goal we should be stopping, in my view. You know, with plenty of players in the box to stop the ball. For my money, soft goal.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Ogbonna perhaps just a pace behind.
Yeah,
the ball coming across Diop didn't quite reach him. I guess he was looking at the player behind him. Rio, we led for 13 minutes and 7 seconds. Back to square one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a poor goal to give away. I mean, there's a lot of things we could have done to cut that out. It's just West Ham, isn't it? You know, but we've done all right apart from that so far.
Yep. No, we sort of thought that might be coming. The amount of possession we conceded there, was it perhaps our own fault because we
were conceding a bit. We didn't. We left ourselves overloaded on the left. Newcastle just won a corner. We nearly got called out by a long ball from the back.
Yeah.
Get back to it. Shelby's taking it in at the near post. It's bobbling around and it's cleared out. But Crest. Oops, hang on a second. Long shot from the back gets blocked. Cresswell basically had 2 against 1, and he was on one of those situations where he was damned whichever way he went.
Mm-hmm.
He elected to go towards the player with the ball, and predictably it got played to out wide to where he'd just been. And I think Ogbonna was literally half a pace away from cutting that out. You could sense the disappointment that he didn't get there in time from himself. As Newcastle go down left, they gone for a corner. It is, yeah. It's just gone. Sorry, the corner flag was off screen there, but it has gone for a corner out on the Newcastle left, our right.
Okay.
So,
Pinky, do you want to take us up there?
Yeah, I mean, here we go. We've absolutely flooded our box with defenders, so they're all in there. We've got plenty of height, but I'm not sure they're picking players up at all. So here we go. We're lucky. I mean, Fabianski, I've got to say, he's all over the shop at the minute. It's a bit of a worry. We've not had the best of seasons in that regard. Between the sticks, and Newcastle are clearly on top at the moment, and they're going to score next if we don't change something very, very, very quickly. So Maximum now tearing down the left, having a run, shoots again. Poor decision by him. Poor decision.
Okay, thank you. I mean, Fabianski, just going back briefly to that corner, definitely flapping at that, unusually for him. But it strikes me as kind of amusing is that we were just about we were singing Ogboda's praises a few moments ago, since when he gave away a potential handball, gave away a free kick on the edge of the box, and has just been responsible for Newcastle's first goal.
I'll tell you what, I've just seen that corner again. That was a damn good corner.
Yeah.
And I think Fabianski, you might want to revisit the flapping at it. I think he did very well to just basically keep that out was priority one, and then get it clear.
So you're saying it was just ugly but effective, man?
Yeah. I give Fabianski some credit for that. And it was a hell of a corner. It was right in that corridor of uncertainty, as they call it.
Fair enough. Excellent. So apologies perhaps due to Fabianski there. Very, very difficult corner, whipping into the near post, just evading everyone's head. Fabianski getting a necessary touch. Not the greatest, but, he's kept it out. So that's his job. It is 1-1. We're just over 20 minutes into the game. It's level as a few of us thought it might be.
We're just not working hard enough. I mean, we're walking, we're at a snail's pace. We need to up our application here. This is not good. We were on the beach almost. The contrast with Wednesday night couldn't be starker. We need to up our work rate substantially here now. It's poor. We're handing the initiative to Newcastle.
Okay, thanks, Pinky. Rio, did we perhaps score a little bit too early in this game?
Yeah, I think it might have made us a little bit overconfident. The complacency is definitely set in. Just going back to the set pieces, both their last corners have come in at the near post, whipped in. And that last one, I think it was Dwight Galwood coming at the near post, was about an inch away from having a clear free header, and it would have been 2-1. So we've got away with that one.
Yeah, perhaps it's something that Newcastle have targeted us for, our weakness at set pieces, and that's certainly been an issue this season. Richard Van on the live chat says, "Afternoon, gents, and it's all square. We just can't keep a lead." No, it's looked good, but it could be worse. Could be worse. Jeff Randall asks, "Where's Bristol today? Is he on day release?" Bristol is taking the day off. Jeff, he's been on, I think, pretty much every stream since we started 2 or 3 weeks ago, so he's having a deserved break this afternoon. Chris Mulhall says the commentator, presumably he's not referring to any of us, just said we were looking comfortable. He obviously doesn't watch us every week. We are just over halfway through the first half. It is Newcastle United 1, West Ham United 1. Michael Antonio scored the opening goal in the 4th minute. A nice break from West Ham before Newcastle grabbed an equaliser in the 17th minute through Almiron. A low ball coming in from the right, which West Ham failed to deal with. 2 very similar goals, in fact, if you look at it. Both crosses low into the near post. It's all to play for. Pinky, are you happy? I mean, I know you said that, I think last week, actually, it was you who said you hoped that it'd be Newcastle who might be on the beach, having secured that 4-1 win at Bournemouth. But you say now you think it might look like it's us who's looking as if we've done enough already.
Absolutely. And on the basis of what we've seen here this afternoon, the Newcastle United supporters to be continually getting stuck into their manager, Steve Bruce, I'm not entirely certain what they want. I mean, they're playing with attacking intent and flair. They're working quite hard as a team. They're working effectively. They're bringing their fullbacks into the game well, getting them forward. They're doing everything that we're not at this point in time. And I'm bitterly disappointed at the minute. And as good as we were Wednesday night, we're strolling. I mean, it's wakey, handoff, snaky. This is halfway through the first half, and we're still on the coach. Not good.
Rio, this is typical West Ham, though, isn't it? As Pinky said, we were absolutely fantastic against Chelsea on Wednesday. Here we go, a game that we might even be predicted to get something from, and we're struggling. It's West Ham all over, isn't it?
Absolutely. We always seem to play to the level of the opposition. Against the bigger side like Chelsea, we'll go at it toe to toe. We'll do exactly the same against a really average side like Newcastle, and we'll drop a level. It's a really weird thing, but it's been ingrained in us for years.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's a theme that you could apply to West Ham for 50, maybe even 60 years, and possibly even longer, who knows. Dipping into the match thread on the forum, referring to Gnome, you raised the issue of the corners with Newcastle looking to spring a surprise at the near post. Kent Hammer, 1984, says he doesn't like our zonal marking at corners. Just each person pick up a man and stick with him, FFS. Are you a fan of zonal marking, Gnome, or do you prefer the old-fashioned man-to-man method?
I guess going back from my playing days, I prefer man-to-man. I'm not a great fan of it, but I guess these things go through fashions in football, don't they? I mean, years ago, you'd never have had zonal marking. It was always pick up a man. And, you know, you'd always have a guy on the inside of each post as well. Sam Maximan's just gone down the right, and Rice has just picked up just eased him off the ball, shall we say, free kick. Nothing more than that, but it's yeah, he's running at that, and Rice just a little flick there to bring him down. But again, shows how vulnerable we are to somebody running with the ball at a bit of pace. So it's about 30 yards out, level with the left-hand side of our penalty area. So Shelby will probably be looking to cross this in. It won't be a shot, but
okay.
And
stuff.
Plate the far post, and that's going out for a throw-in. So we can breathe a little bit there.
No worries there. Of course, it was Declan Rice's tackle that led to Chelsea's second goal on Wednesday. So fortunately, history hasn't repeated itself on that occasion. Rio, just want to go back to what Pinky was talking about briefly there about Steve Bruce. Absolutely slated when he came into Newcastle. But here they are, comparatively safe in mid-table when they were one of the favourites for relegation at the start of the season. He's done a bloody good job, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's obviously had a lot of money to spend, and someone to question a couple of the signings, but he's an unfashionable manager, and it comes with a stigma attached, and people don't like that, and they're very quick to criticise. I mean, we got exactly the same with Moyes, and we had exactly the same with Allardyce. Everyone wants the kind of foreign glory people, and sometimes you just need something that's effective and works to a system.
Speaking of which, there was a member of the Rio family writing about just that on the KUMB article section today. Your boy, Rob, a really good piece about Sean Dyche. Do you agree with Rob? Do you think Dyche might be a potential West Ham manager in the future?
I think he's got all the attributes that we need. Again, because he's unfashionable, he comes with the stigma of playing functional football. I can't see our fan base really going for it. But when he's got the tools at his disposal, he just works with what he's got, and he molds his teams into functional, effective units. And Burnley have had a far greater record against us in recent years of him in charge than we have. Yeah,
good stuff. We are rapidly approaching the half-hour mark. We're a third of the way through the game. It is Newcastle United 1, West Ham United 1. West Ham took the lead through Michail Antonio before Almiron equalised just after the quarter of an hour mark. Pinky, your review of the game so far, please, sir. What do you think? How do you think we're looking?
I think Newcastle are in almost total control at the minute and have been for much of the game. We can't handle their pace when they run forward with the ball at their feet. We are really, really struggling to contain them at the moment. And I think, David Moyes probably, even though we're only 30 minutes in, he should be thinking about making some kind of a change for my money, because we're barely in the Newcastle half, and it's not really working for us at the minute.
Yeah, it's we haven't seen an awful lot of the ball at all, have we, really? Even the goal, I guess, was scored on the break. Looking at the bench today, we've got Darren Randolph, Ben Johnson, Fabian Balbuena, Arthur Masuaku, Mark Noble is back on the bench, Jack Wilshere, dirty Jack Wilshere, as he has been named by Pinky. Andre Yarmolenko, Zonde Silva and Albion Ayeti are our 9 substitutes today. Gnome, if we're looking for a game changer or even a match winner from that lot, who do you see there, and what do you think Moyes should do?
I mean, it's everyone we've got, isn't it? It's not the most inspiring of benches. I'll ignore that question because Bowen's now got a free kick wide right in a dangerous position as Fredericks got caught running in a blind alley and drew the foul.
Okay, let's stick with that for a minute. Off you go.
So we'll move over to that. Basically lining up in the box. Bowen's just waiting for the referee to stop painting the floor. Cross goes in, and it's a dangerous looking cross. It's still up in the air, punched away by keeper Dubravka, whatever his name is, and Newcastle get a throw in down by the corner flag to clear. So the bench is it's basically everyone we've got, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't know. I've not seen Silva, for example, in training. You get the he's 23 now. You get the impression he's there because he's a striker who is fit. So we'll stick him on the bench. But for the sake of having a striker on the bench. Bowen's won the ball on the right again, but everyone's getting in each other's way. It's a bit messy, a bit schoolboy football, but St Maxime's on the ball now and twist and turn and clears. But we're bringing it back, and that's a clever ball from Rice, square across.
Pinky.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it was a good switch across the front of the penalty area by Rice to start with. A kind of a shot come cross came in, which couldn't quite see who got on the end of it. But it was, I think pretty short forced to save, and there was a chance there for sure. Yeah. There was a chance.
Yeah, it looked like Cresswell put the ball in, and Bowen was. I think it's Bowen who's. Or is it? It's I think it is. It's Bowen. Is inches, possibly even centimeters, possibly even millimeters away, making the vital connection there. But a good couple of minutes for West Ham, Rio. First, the cross that came in, another one of those dangerous. It didn't come to nothing, but a decent free kick in the in the danger zone, and then that, as Pinky said, a great ball, great switch of play by Rice out wide on the left to Cresswell. Very dangerous low ball in, and Bowen so close to making it 2-1.
Yeah, it was a very good, well worked move. And he's very unlucky. It seems we're getting a lot more joy using the flanks rather than trying to go through the middle. I think, a little bit more stronger connection by Bowen, and that could have gone in.
Yeah, we've just seen Souček go down after taking a little bit of a knock. He's absolutely fine, though. He's not going to need any treatment after a dangerous-looking move for Newcastle, which started on the left. But good stuff from West Ham, I think. And just having a look again at that, that's a really, really clever ball by Rice, as Pinky rightly pointed out.
The square ball was great, yeah.
Yeah, and even the delivery from Cresswell, it's a very unusual pass, actually. It's driven with pace into the 6-yard box, and it's close. I think actually he does get something on that, doesn't he, Bowen? But
Bowen did, diverted it, yeah. It was, I think, was it Souček put this? It was a shot from Souček that really wasn't going to do much, but Bowen's touch on it brought the save out. We're holding on to the ball a little bit better the last 2 or 3 minutes, I must say, which has been our problem up to now. We got Antonio wide out left, who's looking for somebody maybe to cross it to.
Okay.
Oh, he's got it back, but held on to it slightly too long, and that's a great challenge.
Well done by Fredericks, because we had too many players the wrong side of the ball there, so that was the challenge he had to win.
Saved us there.
Yeah, Souček, fantastic against Chelsea on Wednesday.
Sorry, just a ball from Fornals that would have played us in on the left, and it was just cut out, which means Newcastle can come back on the break, but we've won it back. Bit scrappy, but we are holding on to it a little bit better than we were in the previous 15, 20 minutes, which means that we have a little bit more territory, a little bit more stuff, and looking a little bit beter.
Yeah, Pinky, we were kind of bemoaning the fact that we were.
Antonio's done the fullback.
Go on, Gnome.
Yeah, Antonio's done the fullback, and we've got the ball on the edge of the box, and just trying to sort of engineer a shooting opportunity.
Yeah,
but
much better.
My good ball's played right to Fredericks. Decent cross. Nothing comes of it.
Yeah, it's clever again by Fornals.
Sorry, Rio, what was that?
It's a clever ball by Fornals in behind the defender.
Yep.
Cross comes in, and sadly couldn't get a really proper connection on it. But no, it was clever play.
Yeah, quite.
Sorry.
Sorry, Rio. Sorry.
No, we're looking a little bit better. We was really lax in possession, and now we're trying to work out moves, and we're a little bit more comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a good 2 or 3 minutes for West Ham. A couple of really good, just one-off things there. The Rice pass, wonderful tackle by Antonio a minute ago. Fornell's, showing signs there. Pinky, we're looking a little bit better, aren't we? Than we were perhaps 10, 15 minutes ago when we were sitting back a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly we've advanced up the pitch a little bit better, so our own goal is under less pressure.
Yeah.
I think the words probably come out from the dugout. Switch the flanks, stretch Newcastle a little bit, and that'll give us a better chance to hang on to the ball. But just want to touch on the managers that you were speaking about 5 or 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
About the unfashionability of Moyes and Bruce, and to a certain extent Dyche and what have you. It's strange that however unfashionable they are, they're always in work. And say what you like about them, both Bruce and Moyes are heading towards the 1,000 game sort of level as managers in an industry where the average Premier League manager, I think, gets 90 games, and the majority of them never ever get a second club. So club chairman must like them. They must be effective at something or other. One thing's for certain, they know the job. And yeah, ultimately, Steve Bruce, I think he's brought in St. Maximum and what do you call him, Jolie or whatever his name is, for Newcastle there. He's never had a lot of money to spend wherever he's been.
Yep.
I'm not certain in the modern era that Moyes, he had his brief stint at Man United, but he always struck me there as the manager that was almost scared to spend money. And I think that's part of the issue with the managers is they just don't get the money.
Okay, thank you. Gnome coming in there.
Yeah, we've just won a corner. First yellow card of the day. Gale ended a promising run from Antonio prematurely with a sort of lunging dive. We won a corner from the resulting free kick, which Newcastle haven't cleared, but we've just had a header which basically comfortably saved, so we're all having a funnel back now. But yeah, first yellow card of the day was, as I say, Antonio turned nicely and was bursting through straight down the middle, but Gale lunged in. No problems with the yellow card, proper yellow card, one as one would expect.
Yeah.
St. Maxim at the other end has just cut in from the left, and again hit a curling shot all along the ground all day with for Fabianski. Nothing much happening now. We do have an injury there. The physio's on for a Newcastle player who can't see who it is because the physio's hiding his head. Not sure who that is anyway, but so nothing happening moment, but it was just a couple of incidents there. The corner we took short unusually, and then sort of, it was short corner, then crossed in. But so there you go. Nothing happened, as you were.
Good stuff. 2 shots on target in the matter of a few seconds, one at each end. As Gnome was referring to there, the corner that was whipped in to the near post where Diop saw his header easily saved. Fabianski, a similarly simple save at the other end. It's 1-1. We are entering the last 5 minutes of the half. Kevin Nolan, of course, a big name at both of these clubs during his career, on the bench at West Ham, trying to engineer an away win for the Hammers here, and a win that would be absolutely vital in West Ham's attempts to avoid the drop. The Hammers on 30 points as things stand. Pinky, is this what you'd call a free hit today, given what's happened elsewhere at the bottom of the Premier League this weekend?
Yes and no. I mean, one of the things, or the accusations that's often made at this time of year, and we've spoken about ourselves about players being on the beach and so forth. There's still plenty of prize money to play for the clubs and bonus money for the players. And in a world where players have been asked to take wage deferrals across the game, I'm sure 1 or 2 of them might be thinking, do you know what? 3 or 4 places up the league, we could actually hit our bonus level. So, for my money, we should be trying to win the game, not just for the points, but the players. There's something in it for all of them. And I'm not seeing enough today. I've got to be honest with you. I think it's been better the last 4 or 5 minutes, but I'm not seeing enough here today. With the hunger is not there, and free hit or not, we are not taking advantage of this. Newcastle wanted more at this point in time.
Excellent. Thank you. Some good points as always. Just a quick note on statistics, in-game statistics. West Ham's possession has risen from 26% to 38% in the last 5 minutes. So a little indication there that, you know, we've begun to see a little bit more of the ball than we had perhaps in the opening half hour. Rio, this is one of those typically dangerous times for West Ham. I can't think of how many times over the years, you know, we've conceded in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the first half, or, you know, deep into injury time. We've got to be careful here. We don't want to go in behind, do we? It's a vital few minutes, really, this.
No, but we've had the lion's share of the possession and chances the last few minutes. So let's hope we capitalise on it. And as we said, that Bowen puts a cross in, which Newcastle clear. Yeah, we need to kind of obviously not concede, but while they're under pressure, let's do what normally happens to us. Let's make them concede. Let's force them on the back foot.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, you know, as I always say, you can't score if you haven't got the ball, and the other team, the same thing applies, obviously. Yes, fingers crossed. I mean, West Ham, I think Bowen seems to be getting a little bit of joy on the right there, Gnome, that perhaps he hadn't done in the opening half of the first half.
Yeah, just as an update here, the player who was getting some treatment from the physio a few minutes ago was Hayden, who had some treatment, went off to do the coming back on thing, but whatever it is, doesn't seem to work, and he's now sort of just very disconsolately walking off. He's being replaced by Bentaleb. So that's the first substitution. So clearly, whatever knock that was, Hayden got. He was walking very gingerly, and he did have his hand at the back of the thigh, suggesting potential hamstring. I wouldn't like that. But anyway, we've got the throw in on the right, and Antonio's going to launch a long one in. Which he does. It's dealt with fairly okay by Newcastle. Rice has been caught out there, but we got the throw in. Sorry, you asked me a question at the start of that, and I ignored it for an update. So what was it again?
If you're going to ask me what it was, I have absolutely no idea whatsoever.
Oh, well, the answer is yeah, probably then.
I'm sure it'll come to me at a time when it's absolutely irrelevant. Yeah, it's West Ham beginning to pick up anyway a little bit. We had a we can't say we had a slow start. We scored within 4 minutes. One of the earliest goals West Ham have scored in living memory, possibly ever, from what we can recall anyway. And we're 1-0 up. But after that, as Pinky's rightfully pointed out, you know, we conceded too much possession, and the inevitable probably happened in the 17th minute when Almiron leveled the scores to make it 1-1.
Sorry, guys. Fornals had a promising run, tried to play a ball in, but it was red. It wasn't the greatest of balls. We're still on the front foot, though. The last 10, 15 minutes, we've been on the front foot a lot more.
Yeah, it's...
Cross, Bowen got on the end of it, but couldn't direct the header. But a little bit more promising, yeah. Sorry, carry on, guys. Ignore me.
Good stuff. No, Pinky, a little bit happier than you were perhaps 10, 15 minutes ago?
Yeah, we certainly have come back into the game, and I think that's as much about we've managed to stop the Newcastle lads running directly at us. I'm also pleased to report that the Lemmy Tribute Act has tidied himself up, and he's had a shave, so he's looking a bit tidier today. Andy Carroll sitting there in the stand. So
that was remarkable facial hair, wasn't it?
it was truly shocking. I mean, you know.
We should, of course, point out that Andy Carroll is yet to score in the Premier League since returning to Newcastle. If there ever was a gimme, there it is, as far as West Ham are concerned. The longer Rio he stays on the bench, the better, I guess. Yes,
absolutely. And I'll just about to point out that he's had the shave. He's obviously streamlining himself for a cross. Apparently, it's windy conditions up there. You know, the cross comes in. That extra little bit of drag that's gone on off the face. That extra 100th of a second he can gain. It's coming, isn't it? You know it's coming.
Well, you can certainly see. Talking there about the weather conditions, Richard Van on the live chat on YouTube says the weather conditions are having an impact, and he says it's also good to see we're not sitting back so much. Attack to defend. Chris Mulhall, who's been a regular on there, says yeah, he agrees. We're looking better. Jerry Flower.
That's a good intervention there. Frederick, St Maximin looked in a good position there, and Fredericks just stepped in, but Almiron got caught a little bit there. I'd like to see it again, but they're two down. They've got both St Maximin and Almiron are both down. St Maximin was a really good challenge from Fredericks. Not quite sure what happened with Almiron there, but
yeah, I mean, it looks like St Maximin's thumping the floor there. I don't know if that's an appeal for a free kick or a card, or whether he's genuinely hurt. It's difficult to tell these days.
The Almiron one, Diop went in, won the ball, caught the player on the follow through, and the St Maximin one was just a really, really good challenge from Frederick. You know, he may have landed awkwardly from it, but there's absolutely nothing wrong really with either challenge. Both one of those ones where not reckless. Player will always, somebody's always going to get caught on the follow through. But if anything, Diop got clipped on the way through that. So it just said St Maximin's not looking happy, I have to say, and it didn't look an awful lot at it. There's,
it's good. It's good news. I mean, without compromising our Corinthian spirit or fair play, if there are two players in the Newcastle team that you want to clatter, it's Almiron and St Maximin. So, accidental or not, they're both two good fouls from our perspective. St Maximin.
They weren't fouls at all. That's the point. They weren't fouls at all. Both tackled, won the ball cleanly.
Two very good challenges.
I think St Maximin is just playing to the crowd, such as it is. I think he's going to be all right. No, Carroll's looking interested though.
Your man bun looks ridiculous, Carroll. You absolute clown. What do you think you look like?
Yeah,
get a haircut. You know, I mean, youth of today, it's shocking, really. It really is.
We're seeing St Maximin, Newcastle's most dangerous player, we felt before the game, limping off rather gingerly following that excellent challenge and fair challenge by Ryan Fredericks. We cited that as one of our key battles in the game, and I think it's fair to say that Fredericks has acquitted himself pretty well so far, Pinky.
Yeah, I mean, ask any defender what they fear the most, and it's someone with real pace running straight at them, because it's so hard to defend against. But we touched on it earlier. Even if he goes by you, would you actually back St Maximin either to get off a decent shot or a decent final ball through to his teammate? I'm not so sure I would. So the threat is more perceived than real in some regards. He's a player that you'll have an uncomfortable afternoon against, but is he really going to win Newcastle many matches? I'm not convinced. It's the lack of a final something that a player like that really needs, and he hasn't got it.
Okay, good stuff. I mean, I think one thing that Fredericks does have in abundance is pace. So if we're looking for a like for like, you couldn't really put anyone better against him. Just seen Rio, a couple of opportunities, or West Ham drifting the ball out wide right to Bowen yet again there. It really does seem to be one of the areas we've perhaps, or Moyes and Nolan and the coaching team have highlighted as an area in which we can profit from this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think, again, it's St Maximin, isn't it? He offers a lot going forward in terms of pace and kind of threat. He doesn't do his shift defensively.
Yeah.
And there's room there to exploit, and hope it continues, because Bowen, he's had a really good start to his West Ham career. He's full of industry, full of work rate, and there's something about him. He looks a really decent player.
We are the half-time whistle's gone there, by the way, guys, I think.
Yes, we are. I was just about to say there. No, you took the wind from my sails. We are at half-time. It is West Ham United 1. Newcastle United 1, West Ham United 1. Michail Antonio. Actually, no, has Michail Antonio sort of gone very quiet since he scored the goal? We haven't seen an awful lot of him today, have we? Or am I being slightly unfair there?
Little bits and pieces. He drew a couple of times. He drew the foul that led to Gale's booking.
Had the shot, of course, the hooked effort.
He's causing a few. People having to watch him a little bit. It's not been as perhaps dominant as he was against Chelsea in certain stages of the game, but no, he's doing okay. I mean, it's been an interesting half. We've looked good. I think both sides have had spells. Obviously, we started really well. Then we sat back a little bit, and during that period, obviously Newcastle equalised, and there was a good 15-minute period when we just basically let them get on top of us a little bit. But we came back strongly towards the end of that half. I think it's even Stevens is the right thing, but we ended that half the stronger of the two sides. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, good stuff. And I think most of us would have taken that, wouldn't we, at the start? I'm just having a quick look at the stats at half time. I did point out about 15, 20 minutes ago that West Ham had only seen 26% of possession. That's risen to 43% by half time. So that gives some indication of how much better West Ham played in that last 15 minutes or so, in the last third even of the opening half. Shots. Newcastle have had 6 shots. West Ham have had 9, apparently. Newcastle 3 on target. West Ham 4 on target. Corners, Newcastle with 4 corners. So West Ham's 1. And West Ham's 1 was a short corner, I think, from Bowen that was drifted in a little bit later. In terms of fouls, Newcastle have made 4. West Ham have made 6. So, Pinky, we are locked level on terms at the break. Should we be happy with that?
Well, a point away from home is never, ever a bad result. And nothing I see match to match will change that opinion. Mm-hmm. But looking at what's in front of us, we had a good opening quarter of an hour, a poor middle quarter of an hour, and a much improved third quarter of an hour. I think now maintain the initiative. I'd make a change at half time. If I was Moyes, I'd be saying to Dirty Jack, have a quick fag, son. Just a dozen puffs on it, and then get out on the pitch and start getting warmed up, and you'll be coming on to start the second half. I'd bring him on for Lanzini straight away.
Excellent stuff. Rio, are you happy with where we are at the moment? I mean, we said a point. Pinky rightly says. I don't think anyone could argue with that. That a point away at any ground in the Premier League is a decent result, and harks back to the old maxim: win your home games, don't lose your away games, and you'll have a decent season. Are you happy with the 1-1 scoreline as stand?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with better teams would have punished us, because once we scored, we just switched off completely for 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And their threats from corners, obviously they identified the near post as an area to target. Better sides would have killed us there. But we've read it out. We've actually got our foot into the game again. We're creating chances. We look a little bit better. But I completely agree with Pinky. Lanzini's been completely anonymous in this game. I wouldn't know who he's playing. So 10 minutes, if he doesn't impose himself or get involved, then I'll talk him and probably bring Wiltshire in.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I mean, I'm trying to think back to any of us mentioning Lanzini at all at any point in the first half. But yeah, I think you're both absolutely spot on with that. He's been completely anonymous, hasn't he? No.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. In fact, when Pinky there was sort of saying, I think about the substitution, and I'm thinking, who might he bring off? And it was only when he said Lanzini that I remembered he was playing. So, he has been. I haven't seen him doing any of the chasing back stuff that he was doing a bit better on Wednesday night, wasn't it? I couldn't remember what day it was. Even when he was not being creative on Wednesday, there was a lot of tracking back that he was doing and that sort of stuff. But I've not even seen him doing that at the moment. So, that's the change I think I'll make. Whether or not I do it exactly at half time, given that I'd want to make sure Wilsh is totally warmed up before anything happens.
So phase him in for next week's game against Watford then.
Yeah, so just watching the Almiron goal now, and it's amazing number of times we get overloaded on our left-hand side. And so Cresswell, I mentioned it earlier on, he's got St. Maxim and playing out wide there, but it really was on a hiding to nothing, and just got drawn in, and it's a well-worked goal. I just think Ogbonna might have slid in a little bit more conviction to try and stop that ball getting across.
Yes, I have a statistic for you. Speaking of the Newcastle goal scorer, apparently Miguel Almiron is the first Paraguayan player to score at least 4 Premier League goals in a single season since. Over to you guys. Who was the last one? Can you remember? I'll give you a clue. He played for Blackburn Rovers.
Roque Santa Cruz, something.
Rocky, yeah.
Rio, you get the point. Superb. Yeah, Roque Santa Cruz scored 4 goals for Blackburn in season 2008, 2009. Also finished on 4 goals. Yeah, I'm impressed by that, Rio. That was a pretty good shout, that. Almiron levelled for Newcastle. It's him who is preventing West Ham from going into the break 1-0 ahead, thanks to Michail Antonio's 4th-minute goal, one of the earliest goals West Ham have scored in recent seasons, possibly this season. Great stuff, really. Going to take a quick dip into the forum and today's Newcastle v West Ham match thread to see what people are saying. The discussions there rife with regards to what changes should be made ahead of the second half. Celador. Well, first of all, Burnley Hammer agrees with the panel here that Lanzini has been completely ineffective as a left winger. But interestingly, he says, I'd consider bringing Masuaku on or bringing Yarmolenko on and sticking Bowen on the left. Okay, interesting one. I'm not sure I would agree with that personally, because I think Bowen seems to have been one of our better outlets and played particularly well on the right so far. But interesting observation nonetheless. Hammer in Hornchurch says one or both of Lanzini and Fornals off at half-time for me. Just 2 lightweights and both trying to do the same thing. Give Yarmolenko the second half. Honky Tonk believes that our left-hand side costs us too many goals. Certainly where the goal came from today. Celador says maybe Yarmolenko in the middle and Antonio moving out to the left. So 1 or 2 interesting observations there. Pinky, your thoughts on those? You don't seem to be particularly impressed, my friend, from what we're hearing there from the forum.
I mean, I can't imagine bringing Masuaku on's the answer to any question that I've been asked, and it's that would worry me. I think the general point, though, that we're hearing there is we're a little bit lightweight in 1 or 2 areas of the pitch, and I think that's a fair comment. We seem to get brushed aside rather too easily when players with a bit of power just run at us.
Yep.
And we're back to the Fornals and Lanzini in the same starting 11 conundrum, and maybe someone with a little bit more physicality who will leave a boot in. Dare I say it, Dirty Jack, is, I maintain he's the option. Bring him on, because I think he might also create more problems for Newcastle's defence than what we're seeing. So I'd make the change, and I'd make it now, no question.
Jack Wilshere clearly didn't cause any problems on Wednesday, and in fact was part of the successful turnaround in that game. So a very valid point, I think, there from Pinky. Stu 1 says, overall an okay half. We started off the better side and also ended the half better, but Newcastle dominated the middle period. A decent game from us. Good passing from Lanzini. Seeing something we obviously haven't there. Antonio, Fornals and Bowen. We've actually scored some very nice goals in the last couple of games. Good point. Although if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be disappointed. An annoying goal by them conceded by us. Seen a few people saying Lanzini was ball watching, which is obviously not true. He's tried pinching the ball off Gale, but couldn't quite get there. Cresswell was then in trouble, but I think his positioning made it too easy for the wide man. Newcastle did work it well, though. A 1-1, a fair reflection of the game so far, and a reasonable game to watch. As a spectacle, Rio, It's been all right, isn't it, so far? I mean, if we're talking from that neutral perspective, we'd be reasonably happy with the fare offered, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both sides have created chances. There's been some nice football played at times. I think everyone will be happy with it. Going back to the point before,
Yep.
with Fornells has never really been given an opportunity in a central position for us. And if we could kind of accommodate him there instead of Lenzini, and I think in the summer, if we could say someone a bit more robust, kind of a Jared Bowen type on the left-hand side, I think they'll give us a much better balance.
Okay, excellent stuff. I'm just having a look around my screens here and just say a quick hello to Dan Spencer, who is a new subscriber on our YouTube channel. Welcome, Dan. I hope you're enjoying the feed. Come and say hello. Let us know what you think in the chat. Pat Nevin, a former Chelsea and Scotland winger, is commentating on Radio 5 Live this afternoon, and pretty much goes on with what we're saying by saying Pat says it was a half of two halves. The way West Ham started in the first minute was great, and then they were pushed back. Oddly, the same thing happened to Newcastle after they scored. It's been played at a brilliant pace. I'll be surprised if there's no more goals. Gnome, would you agree with that? You think there's going to be more goal-mouth action and it's not going to end 1-1?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with the half of two halves. I think it's a half of 3/3, really, which would be slightly more accurate, if somewhat pedantic. But yeah, I think that there's at least one more goal in this, yeah, I mean, who's going to get it? Well, we finished the first half the stronger of the two sides, but it's a matter of once you get that sort of on the front foot and you get that momentum, it's keeping it going. I think the irony was that the goal made us go on the back foot. It was, there's never you can never score too early as far as I'm concerned, but it did sort of make us sit back and think, right, well, we've got a goal, we can have a bit of a breather now, sort of thing, and which ended up with them equalising. So it's a matter of if we do get on the front foot early on, we've got to maintain that momentum. We improved in keeping the ball. That spell that Newcastle had, we were very, very scrappy in possession. And in occasions our first touch was terrible, but we seem to sort of get over that. So yeah, I mean, just want to carry on as we did the end of that first half and keep it going. It's coming out now, by the way.
You're trying to coin the title of Frank McAvenny's next book. You can never score too early, as far as I'm concerned. You just know Frank wants to use that, don't you? So
so I'll slap a copyright on that now, so I get me royalty.
I think you should.
Yeah.
The players are emerging ahead of the second half. It is 1-1. It's all to play for as things stand.
As far as I can see.
Okay, give me a shout. Give me a jump in there if you do see any. Gnome or Rio or Pinky. I'm just going to have a quick look at the table while you're keeping an eye on the pitch. If this was to stay at 1-1 and West Ham were to take a point, it wouldn't affect our position in the table. We would remain 16th. We would, however, move 3 points clear of our next opponents, Watford, who are on 28 points, and our goal difference is -18 to their -23. So, every little helps. We are off. The second half has begun. Let's just go round the table just to get our thoughts, very brief thoughts ahead of the second half. Pinky, what are we looking for from West Ham here?
Personally, I think we need to go and push on and try and win the game. As much as anything else, that builds further confidence and drives a dagger through the heart of Aston Villa and Watford. And I think a win here today, and those two teams would be looking at each other going, "It's you or us, mate." I think we would be pretty much out of it. So that's why the win's important. It's more the impact on the opposition than the points itself. Yeah,
good point. Rio, would you go along with that from Pinky?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a win today would put us virtually safe, about 3 points short of being safe. My only worry at the moment is the workload put on Antonio. Will he last the pace today? Had a very heavy workload Wednesday. He's doing a lot of running up front without much support today. And we've got some big games coming up. We need to kind of not lose.
Yeah,
we're sitting back a little bit. We did get the ball into their area earlier on in the start of the second half, but Newcastle have come back strongly down our left. They have a corner. Low cross got cut out. We've got Shelby about to take a corner on our left. Pulled it out towards the penalty spot and headed wide. Header was far too easy there, but had no direction on it. Corner didn't have an awful lot of pace on it either, so it was going to be difficult to score with a header from that far out.
Yeah. Just coming back, sorry, guys, Gnome, just coming back quickly there. Am I being a little bit harsh on Lanzini? Just prior to the corner being won, he seemed to give up a little bit, didn't he, Pinky? I mean, I don't know if you spotted that.
No, I didn't, frankly.
Okay. If we see a replay, just have a look. But it just struck me as sort of Lanzini gave up a little bit. The ball was played out wide and he's just stopped tracking his man. Perhaps he had the prescience to realise that the ball was going out of play. I don't know, but it comes to nothing anyway. And West Ham survive the resulting corner. Quick hello to Jeff Hathaway, who is our latest subscriber on the channel. Good to see you, Jeff. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Let us know what you think in the comments or on the KUMB match thread. It is 1-1. Newcastle, despite West Ham breaking straight away into Newcastle's half in the first attack since the interval, Newcastle have been on top for the last 2 or 3 minutes. Rio, are we going to be going into a familiar pattern here? Have we sort of, or can West Ham pick up a little bit here? Just seeing a shot just dragged wide there.
Yeah, no, we can't keep Gnome on that kind of time and space and allow him to have opportunities like that. I don't know if you saw it, the stat that popped up about Steve Bruce for Moyes head-to-head.
I didn't know. Go on.
Last 18 games, Moyes has only triumphed on 2 occasions.
Well, that's quite incredible, isn't it?
It's shocking, to be honest. We're just on the attack. Lanzini's just put it out wide.
Okay.
With Bowen's kind of sauntering in midfield out to Rice. He's going to look wide, surely. No, cuts back inside. It's looking good at the moment. We're knocking the ball around nicely. Nothing too panicky. Taking your time, trying to recap the opportunities.
Also interesting to note that...
it just breaks down at Lanzini again. And, Rice played the ball into his feet. And Lanzini bustled off the ball. And, now we're back in their own half. Okay, we've got the ball back. But, he's got to be stronger than that.
Yep. I just wanted to quickly point out that prior to that move beginning, it was Rice who won the ball back with another really intelligent challenge. He's really blossomed, hasn't he, Gnome, in the last, I know it's only 2 games, but since being given the captaincy, he's really taken it on, hasn't he?
That was a fine challenge where the move had broken down at the feet of Lanzini.
Yeah.
And Rice was running back. And as we saw against Chelsea, if you don't time those right, it's a free kick. But he timed that one superbly well. And as I said the other night, his captaincy, he was geeing players up, and it was good to see. It's never bad to see a youngster shouting at the older players. So an Antonio long throw comes in, and it was. So I'm just trying to see there again. Yeah, Diop got on the end of it, but it basically came off the top of his head, went out harmlessly for a goal kick.
No, did we establish there were no changes at half time?
Yeah, no change at half time. The only change so far has been the early substitution of Bentaleb on for Hayden, who hobbled off. But
a great ball.
That was lovely ball, but Antonio's a little bit on his heels there, and Newcastle were able to cover. But that was a lovely potential ball there from Fornals there.
Okay, yeah, it says Gnome rightly says the only substitute so far that enforced change on the 43rd minute, with Hayden going off, being replaced.
Oh, that's beautiful from Fornals. Lovely feet. Antonio crosses, but just finds a defender in the box. Rice wins the loose ball, but it's through to the keeper. There was some lovely feet there by Fornals.
I mean, I'm just looking at Lino's flag there, and it is absolutely howling a gale up there. So that kind of explains why Newcastle, certainly in part of that first half, were able to run at us looking like Linford Christie. You know, they were really powering in on us. That's a strong breeze blowing in from the Gallowgate end up to the other end of the pitch.
Some magic feet there from Pablo Fornals once again on the left-hand side. Gnome. We just want to quickly touch on Rice, Rio. He looks like he's hobbling a little bit at the moment. I didn't see the challenge.
Yeah, I kind of missed that as well.
Looks like
it's
he's
a bit of a worry. Bit of a worry.
Yeah,
I think it's the second biggest worry he's had of today. I think the other one is that he spent all that time during the break growing that little bit of beard that Andy Carroll had missed. Carroll's gone and broken the jigsaw. He's broken the pattern. It's ruined everything.
All right, come on.
No.
Sorry, just Antonio's been thrown to the floor there and nothing's been given. Yeah. Anyway, nothing's come of it. It's sort of it's back in Newcastle's half now, but
Okay.
just got wrestled to the ground there, which was.
I guess that we should point out credit to the referee so far that we've reached 52, 53 minutes without Gnome entering a rant about the PGMOL yet. So that's a good sign.
I'm not wrong though, am I?
I couldn't possibly comment, you know, I'm neutral up here. Good stuff. 54 minutes gone. It's Newcastle 1, West Ham 1. Pinky, it's been quite even since the break, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, and you know, the conditions are playing a much bigger part than perhaps I'd realised in the first half. It's very, very significant, and having lived up in that part of the world for a short period of time, I can assure you it might look sunny, but when the wind starts howling, it'll be bloody cold. You know, there's no such thing as a warm day in Newcastle.
Gaz, WHU66 makes an interesting comment on the match thread on the KUMB Forum. Excuse me. Says it looks like Rice has pulled his groin slightly following a tackle on San Maximan. God, I hope not. So we'll have to watch that one, Rio, I guess, for the next few minutes and just see how he's going. I mean, that would be a huge blow, wouldn't it, Rio, to West Ham if Rice had to be replaced in the centre of the park there?
Yeah, very much so. It's just shots to the scene where Noble is talking to Kevin Nolan.
Yeah.
So I think that would be a natural replacement at the moment. But it's a massive worry because he's been head and shoulders our best player since the return.
Yeah.
And he's revelled in the captaincy role. So, yeah, it would be a massive, massive loss if he has to go off injured.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of comments on the live chat. Chris, no, I'm afraid it's not alcoholic. It's water yet again. Someone's got to try and keep the show going reasonably smoothly. I don't think a bucket of alcohol would be the best method of doing that. So water only today, mate, I'm afraid. Lewis says, come on, boys, do not blow this now. Let's not make it hard for ourselves for the next few games. Don't be 1-1 with Carroll coming on with 15 to go, as we know the outcome. And as Pinky's rightly pointed out earlier in the stream, it is a streamlined Andy Carroll preparing to emerge from the bench and plunge the stake into the heart of West Ham between now and the 90th minute. Hopefully it won't come to that. We do, of course. Gnome?
Yeah, sorry. I mean, Rice does seem to be moving a little bit slowly. Didn't get across to make the challenge. And as he turned, though, he was pulled down by, I'm not sure that
Jolinton,
was.
I think.
Jolinton, that's it, yeah. But he didn't look all that quick getting across there. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. He's moving very gingerly at the moment. So,
Pinky, put yourself in David Moyes' shoes. We have, is it 5 more games after today? It is 5 more games after today. Do we risk keeping Declan Rice out there and potentially exacerbating the injury that he appears to have taken, or do we get him off as soon as possible?
I'd run the risk. I'd leave him on there to see the extent of the injury. I mean, the player will know himself in 3 or 4 minutes. And, you know, if he's unable to continue, by all means, take him off then. But I'll give it a few minutes yet. Just picking up on the Andy Carroll potential to wreak havoc in the last 10, 15 minutes. you know, I'm just thinking maybe Newcastle have dropped one here
Oh.
because they'd be better off with the wind on Carroll's back in the last quarter of an hour than him running into the wind. And I just think if they were going to use that as a tactic late on, they should have, you know, turned the game round and attacked the Gallowgate end in the first half. I think, assuming they've won the toss, which I guess they must have done.
Yeah, yeah.
Noble
Yes,
come
come on.
Lanzini.
No?
Not yet. Noble's on. It's Lanzini. Is it coming off there? Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that would indicate that Rice is probably okay then if Noble's come on.
So, yeah, Rice has handed Noble the armband. I'd carry on skippering, armband or no armband, Declan. You're doing all right. You shout at everyone.
Interesting change there, Rio. We've been slightly critical of David Moyes in the last 2 or 3 games for not taking the ball by the horns and grabbing the initiative and reacting to changes made by the opposition. But there he goes. First change of the second half. We called it, didn't we? We didn't feel that Lanzini was being particularly effective. Fair call that, do you think, Rio? Noble on?
Yeah, I mean, it's a slightly more negative aspect we've got to our game now.
Yeah.
And you got to worry that Will Noble slow the play down a little bit more. But now being away from home, just getting on your foot on the ball and keeping control for the next half hour, you know, as it swings and roundabouts, that one. But Lanzini had to go. He's done absolutely nothing today.
Gnome, how do you see the Noble introduction affecting the shape and the way that West Ham are playing this afternoon?
I'm just trying to see where exactly Noble's gone and what his position is. He's fairly advanced at the moment. It's an interesting one. He is fairly advanced, but and no disrespect to him, but he does tend to slow attacks up as Newcastle come forward now, looking promising on the left for them, or their left, that is. But they're well, they got a shot in eventually. It was bobbling around in there, but team with a bit more composure might have had something there. They were going forward, and the next 2 or 3 passes sort of seemed to get caught under everybody's feet, and it was kind of just swing a leg at it. I think that was Almiron had the ball was there. I'll swing what I can on it.
Yeah,
So,
very difficult one from a striker's perspective to score from, isn't that really? I guess we crowded the box, didn't we, Pinky? It made it difficult for them anyway.
Yeah, and that's absolutely the right thing to do as well.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, you know, just to go on to Noble and the outrageous suggestions from
the ball. Referees, take the ball. You bought that one.
That he slows things down. You know, I think that's just outrageous. I think, you know, it's almost actionable in court. You know, they're forgetting the speed of thought of Noble that makes up for the lack of speed in the legs. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come up trumps this afternoon and produce the pass that leads to the winning goal. So I'll give a bit of support to the club captain there, because I love him.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing about Noble. He has his critics and his knockers, but here he is, sort of 15 years into his professional career, still playing in the Premier League. There's a reason, as we've often stated on the forum before, that successive managers keep him in the team. So long may it continue. And yes, as Pinky rightfully says, he's cropped up time and time again with some important goals. Rio, we are 2/3 of the way through this match now. It is still 1-1. Are we still happy with the way it's going, or are we beginning to, you know, do we need to sort of push on a little bit?
No, I mean, at the moment, I'm more than happy. We just got to kind of continue in the frame we are. You know, we've just introduced a new player. We've got to adjust to that a little bit.
Yep.
But we're not under threat from them. We're not offering much going forward ourselves, but as long as we're not like conceding chances and possession too much, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, can't remember the last real save Fabianski had to make. Can you?
No, not really. I'd like to see us trying to take the game a little bit more to them. St Maximin's doing some trickery on their right, our left, which still waiting to see if the cross is coming off. It flicks off the bottom of the foot for a corner to Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle aren't really laying a glove on us, but I'd like to see us perhaps taking the game a little bit more to them. They've got a corner at the moment, so we'll have to see how that goes. But I don't like us from corners traditionally. So
okay, take us through the corner. Tell us what's happening.
Shelvey's touched his head. Cross goes across again. Fabianski comes and takes comfortably. It was straight in the middle of the 6-yard box. Fabianski got blocked trying to get rid of the ball there, but ref sees nothing in it. Lets play go on, and we're now moving up into their half with Bowen on ball. So yeah, I would like us to see just try to push on a little bit. Let's play in their half. I mean, best form of defence is attack, I reckon. So
yeah, absolutely. Pinky, we seem to have reverted a little bit to the same pattern of play that we were kind of felt the game was at in that second third of the first half. I think, is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Newcastle haven't offered very much going forward for a little while now.
Yeah,
which of course is the precursor to them scoring a goal. But we're comfortable at this point in the game. Of that there's no doubt. I just think we could just be a little bit more positive. Actually, this is a game that we should win, but could win. And let's get the job done today.
Yeah, some good points there. Just an indication, perhaps, of how comfortable West Ham supporters see this one at the moment is the fact that the KUMB Forum match thread is far quieter than it was on Wednesday night. And as you all know, the match thread tends to go absolutely berserk and bonkers, more so when West.
You go, Graham.
Am I there? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're back. Sorry, you cut out there, but
okay. So yeah, I was just saying it's it's a good sign, I suppose, that things are relatively quiet. Rio, 25 minutes or so left to go. I'm just going to go and sort out my internet connection. If you can tell us where you think what we need to do for the next 10 minutes in the next phase of the game.
I think pretty much continue the same vein as we are. We're passing the ball around nice. We're controlling. Let's not dive into anything though. This time, we're creating, we're passing, we're moving the ball around, we're making them work. Let's keep that way. Nothing too hasty, nothing too dangerous.
Good stuff. Just about 25 minutes of normal time left to play. It's one substitute each so far. Bentaleb on for Hayden in the 43rd minute. Noble replacing Lanes. Go on, Gnome, off you go.
Lovely ball out wide from Rice to Fredericks. Fredericks took a little touch and then skinned his defender. Got a dangerous low cross in, which was cleared at the near post for a corner. Good move there. Good bit of football.
Okay, Pinky, do you want to take us through the corner?
Yeah, okay. It's going to come in. It's is that Bowen doing it? Is it? He's going to swing it with his left peg, and it comes. Oh, yes! In it goes.
Yes!
In it goes.
Yes!
We have a goal. Pinky, tell us about it.
Rice actually put the first header in. I think it came off the bar or the post or something. Dropped to Souček, who's just banged in his goal again. I mean, what's he signed as? Defensive midfield or striker? I mean, he can do the lot, can't he? At the minute, Souček.
The corner is deep to the back post. It's headed against the bar. Was it by Ogbonna possibly? I think it was Ogbonna, and then Souček. And putting the ball in the back of the net. West Ham are 2-1 ahead. This could be, we are heading perhaps towards David Moyes' first back-to-back win since returning to the club. Rio, your thoughts instantly on that goal?
Like I said, patience is a virtue. Make them work, put them under pressure, eke out the chance. It was a good header by Rice. And Souček is perfectly placed. There's nothing rushed. Takes his time, gets his foot round the ball into the back of the net. It was a great goal.
It's superb finish. It was quite easy to blast those ones over from 6 yards. But he just, you know, it was unstoppable, low, hard shot. That's his third goal in 2 games, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. It should be. My
Newcastle
apologies.
on the attack now. Hang on. That looks offside.
It's got to be offside.
That's got to be offside, surely.
Sure,
No,
yes,
tell
offside.
us. Talk to us. Where
Come on. I want to see that one again. Ball played in. That looked they really looked an offside. I want to see who's playing him on, if there is.
Yep.
Let's have a look. We'll see it now. Step. Yeah, he's offside. Oh no, it's
not.
Fornells has played him onside.
Yeah.
It looks like Newcastle have equalised instantly, straight from the kickoff. David Moyes is going apoplectic on the sideline. Shelby, that West Ham fan, has done it again by the looks of things. We're just watching the cross come in on one of the replays here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Fornells is clearly, there's no question about it.
Didn't spot in. There's nobody in the middle playing him offside. It was
given
Fornells
offside.
right out on the wing. You know.
Yeah. Bizarre. We were just celebrating West Ham taking the lead for a second time, and for a second time, we've been pegged back. Not quite as instantly on the first occasion, but I do apologise if my internet stream, by the way, is causing problems. Just to give you some indication of how bad it is this afternoon, I mistook Declan Rice for Angelo Bonner in the lead up to our second goal. So if that gives you some idea of the problems I'm having there, it is. Pinky, your thoughts on Newcastle's equaliser, please?
I'm just delighted to read that Steve Page is going to keep his mouth shut from now on. So, but I mean, that's just dreadful by Fornells. I mean, you know, the guy has gone to sleep. He's let his teammates down badly there. And to be the player that stood there sort of like Nigel Winterburn, like with his arm in the air, waving for an offside decision that's never going to come. You know, it's just poor. It's just poor concentration.
Yes. So our joy was short-lived.
He couldn't get out. He should have been sprinting up there, and he was walking.
Yeah, it's pretty unforgivable, isn't it, for someone in those circumstances. I'm just having a look at the replay again now, and I mean he's like 10 yards on side.
Substitution for Newcastle. Gale's come off with Richie coming on, and the referee's going to make him take the kick off for the third time.
Yeah,
don't quite know what.
Just like to point out, that substitution is straight out of Dagenham Redbridge school playbook.
Also, Sam Maximan is off with Valentino Lazaro coming on to replace. So that's maybe a bit of relief. He's been a bit quiet, but
injured perhaps.
Lovely little challenge there from Fellaini on the Newcastle lad, and you know, just left the boot in. Good afternoon. You'll feel that in the bath tonight, son. Have some of that. I don't mind a bit of that once in a while.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, loud and clear, Greg.
Struggling this afternoon. Someone give me a wave if you can. Hello, Gnome. Hello. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. You're about as mobile, though.
Do we think he's still feeling something from that injury, Rio?
Sorry, mate, I just didn't catch that.
Sorry, I was just saying, do we think the Sam Maximan change is perhaps due to the injury he took in the first half, or do you think it's been tactical?
I think it's more tactical. As Pinky's pointed out, he's a very pacey player, but his end product is pretty awful, and he's really contributed nothing today. Yeah. So I just think they need to change up a little bit and offer a different kind of option.
Okay. I think I'm back with you after a few minutes away. We are inside the last 20 minutes.
That's Newcastle with all their subs gone, by the way.
Yes.
And we're about to make a change. Yarmolenko is, well, he's got his shirt on. No. Oh,
Rio, talk to us. Where are we? What's going on?
I was offside anyway. Almiron sort of ran onto a ball, which let's have a look. Yeah, ball played from out left. Almiron was a good yard or so offside, but Fabianski came rushing out, and Almiron sort of lobbed it past him, but it bounced harmlessly wide. But it was only a few seconds later they showed the line with his flag up, which isn't good for those of us who might have a heart condition. So, but anyway.
Yes, so Newcastle, their full quota. I'm just trying to think. I don't know what it is, who it is, but Almiron kind of reminds me of a character out of Breaking Bad. I'm not sure specifically which one, but there's a definite similarity there. I'll try and figure out exactly who before the end of the stream. Yarmolenko means no dirty Jack, Pinky. Are you disappointed by that?
Only in the sense that I think we need Wilshere to get some minutes on the pitch if we can, because in the next 4 games, if we need the option, let's have a player who's at least got some minutes under his belt. But you know, we are where we are, and for me, the huge disappointment here: we've scored 2 goals away from home, and the best we're going to come away from this, the way it's looking now, is a point. And 2 goals should be enough away from home to get you all 3.
Yeah, I guess we can't really complain. I mean, it's a shame, I suppose, if you've led twice in a game, you're going to be a little bit disappointed if you don't take all 3 points. But again, I come back to Pinky's very correct statement about, you know, if you don't lose away from home, you've done okay. And certainly in our predicament at the moment to take 4 points from fixtures against Chelsea and Newcastle.
I think the change is coming now, guys.
Go on, Gnome.
Yeah, Yarmolenko. Oh no, maybe not. The ball was out, but they were taking the time to have another long chat with Yarmolenko sitting there. Who
do we think is going to be called? No,
he's actually got his shirt on. So, but they've let play go on, so they're delaying it. Newcastle are coming forward now. So stay with it for a second. Newcastle just try to work out what to do with it, but it's gone back. But oh no, they've got some space out on our right again, but it's floundered, gone to the edge of the box, and long shot from outside, and it's high and wide. So I think now we'll see the change. Goal kick to West Ham.
Pinky, who do you think is going to be coming off for Yarmolenko?
Antonio. He's looked very leggy for my money. Now he's pulling off Fornals. I think that's a mistake.
Fornals, yeah.
Antonio's looked very leggy the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think we're possibly running the risk of him getting an injury if we leave him on. I think that's a poor decision by the manager. You know, Antonio was clearly struggling. Sorry,
Pinky. I was just going to say, do you think that's related to the second Newcastle goal? Do you think they're particularly disappointed, or do you think it's just tactical?
I just think it's tactical. You know what he's doing there. But you know, for me, I can't get Antonio out of my head at the minute. He's at 3/4 pace.
Yeah,
and that's the sign to me of a player that is dog tired. He's really tired, and any second now, mark my words, he'll try and stretch out and he'll do a hamstring. You can see it coming a mile off.
We have Yarmolenko on the pitch for Pablo Fornals Rio. What do you think that's going to do to West Ham's shape? Do you think, again, it's a straight swap? Yarmolenko out wide, leave Antonio up top on his own? How do you see that one going?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much positional-wise, pretty much like for like. Although Bowen just got himself injured and he was on the left-hand side, so Yarmolenko might go a bit more wide right and Bowen to the left. But yeah, no, it's interesting. I don't think it's necessarily the right way. I do love Yarmolenko. He does produce the unexpected, but he's not a defensive player. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Bowen there. He seems to have taken one in the ribs.
Yeah, it was just basically the ball hammered at him, sort of winded him a little bit. I don't think there's anything in that. Of course, the good news, I was going to say earlier on, but we got sidetracked a bit, but with Newcastle having used 3, they're allowed another 2, aren't they?
Exactly.
Oh, yes, I mean, this is the change, isn't it? It's 5 now.
Sorry, force habit, because I was going to say that means that we won't see Carol, but of course, if they've got another 2 to use. Sorry, my bad there. Getting used to this new stuff.
Yeah, but of course, though, Gnome, there's only 3 windows, isn't there now, in which they can make those substitutes. So they've used 2. Would that be right? Am I correct in thinking they've still got 1 left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah, the Bentaleb came on.
Yes, because they brought on Richie and Lozano together, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought 2 on at the same time, so they've got 1 window left. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll get used to this by the end of the season when they'll change it again.
We'll get there. We'll get there. According to Steve Page, Almiron looks a bit like Crazy 8 from BB. So I'll go and check that. But thank you, Steve, for settling my mind there. We are rapidly approaching the last 10 minutes of normal time. It's Newcastle 2, West Ham United 2. West Ham United have led twice. Newcastle United have levelled twice. Firstly, it took 13 minutes for them to restore parity. On the second occasion, it took just over 1 minute, thanks to a bit of horrendous lack of concentration from Pablo Fornals, for which he's been punished by being pulled off. Well, it's not just that, but I'm sure that
most places you just get an orange, but there you go.
Boom,
Yes.
Tish, you're here all week.
Yes. So, Pinky, 10 minutes to go. Let's see if we can call it. Is it going to be a winner?
Sorry, we had a promising move that Souček, the final ball, let us down, which was a shame because it had been nicely worked from right to centre, and we had a player over on the left. It does annoy me when the final ball doesn't go through like that.
Yeah, unfortunate. So, Pinky, coming back to you, do you think there's going to be a winner? We're in the same position we were on Wednesday, aren't we?
Yeah, there's a winner coming, and because we're at the wrong end of the table, Fornals' error is not going to be punished by us dropping 2 points. It's going to be punished by us dropping all 3, and you can just see it now. You know, Carol coming on maybe for the last couple of minutes, and us getting mugged. The sub editors have got the headlines written already. It's going to happen.
Rio, Pinky thinks it's bad news. You thought it was bad news on Wednesday, but we went up the other end and scored a winner. Can we do it again?
What, me predict that we're going to lose and we might win? Yeah, I can certainly predict that. No, it's at the moment, the game's it's at a very slow pace.
Yeah.
No one seems to want to go on the attack, really. It's a bit strange. It's a very lackadaisical approach at the moment. So if there is a goal coming, it's going to be very much against the run of play. It's very, very meandery. It's dull.
Yeah, it's a bit like it's a very strange
playing across the halfway line basically at the moment, and it's gone from one side to another. There's the first forward ball for a little while, which Cresswell deals with, and we play it forward, probably to lose it again, and the whole thing starts again. So
it's
kind of scrappy.
Mr. Carroll's about to come on.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So we've all been concerned. We've all been worried. This.
Yeah. Newcastle let the ball go out for a throw, but it was our throw. So, the newly shaven Carroll is about to come on. And it's Joe Linton's coming off. That's not the hardest prediction to make, I think.
Okay. My internet is struggling again. So, Gnome, if you can take over for the next minute or two, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, we've got, as I say, Joe Linton's just come off. There's all the fist bumps coming on, and Carroll's come on. It's a West Ham throw. I mean, the game seems to be meandering a little bit. Wouldn't you say, Pinky?
Yeah, very much so. Although Noble's just played a ball out wide to Yarmolenko. See if he's got 2 doubled up on him. He sends in the cross.
Good ball.
It forces the save. So we've tried to do something there. Again, Souček, right in the box, heads the ball in and forces the save from the Newcastle keeper. And you've got to say he gets forward plenty, Mr. Souček, for a midfielder that's supposed to sit. So good for him.
Let's hope we got the money to pay for him if we stay up.
Don't be silly, Gnome.
I'll chip in a tenner. Don't worry about that.
It's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, would Souček been better staying on his feet there, Pinky, and leveraging it with his right boot?
Ifs and buts and all the rest of it, isn't it? You know, it's. No, I was happy with what he did there. What are you on about?
Good stuff. I do apologise. My internet stream is or my wireless, should I say, is struggling big time this afternoon. So, gentlemen, if I do go quiet, please jump in and grab the reins.
Cheer.
Gnome, we see anything else happening here?
Not much at the moment. We've just got a free kick, which took a few seconds to sort out, and it's our turn to enjoy a little spell of possession. But it's cagey both sides. Lots of pressing going on. It's worked its way back to Fabianski. So
it's a clear tactic to have moved Souček further up the park. So they've moved Noble deeper. Yeah, Souček's gone forward. That's a clear, you know, absolutely in the Fellaini role. I know I'm overplaying that a bit, but it's a tactical move by Moyes, no question about it.
Well, what's happening here? It looked like Antonio forced the corner, but the referee didn't like his involvement in forcing a corner. Nothing wrong with that at all. He's given a free kick for it. No foul, but you know, two players coming together. Let's give it against Antonio. I'm a bit disappointed in that decision. So we've got 8 minutes left, and they're showing our remaining fixtures there at the moment. But it's all got a bit scrappy. Neither side really sort of enjoying holding on to the ball very much. See what we can do now with Bowen.
Okay, Jeff Hathaway on the chat says he agrees with Pinky. He says he thinks Moyes is going to continue to play Antonio until he inevitably breaks down. Well, he's lasted 84 minutes, so he's pretty much there. He's nearly there anyway. Right. It's 2-2.
Pinky. I mean, some lovely interplay there on the edge of the Newcastle box, and you know, couldn't quite see who unleashed the shot, but it was going like a rocket. It was a lovely little move by West Ham there. Some decent play. Who was it? Good touch. Yarmolenko hits it. Bang.
Right, Yarmolenko, Souček all combining. Yarmolenko, powerful effort on the just hit the ball. Good save.
A yard either side, and that's in the net. You know, he just hit it right where the keeper was, really, but that would have been contender for goal of the season. Lovely.
Yeah.
A word about this. Hang on, as the corner comes across. Aimed at the far post again, but goes out. A word at that. We kind of lost the ball briefly at the start of that move, but Cresswell came in with a really, really clever, important header to keep it alive. That started all that before Rice then could spread it out. So pat on the back for the left back there. You there, Gray? I think Graham's lost us again. Graham's gone about as mobile as he used to be when he used to play for the supporters side.
It's outrageous. I heard that.
Oh, you heard that?
I do apologise, gentlemen. I'm just trying to get my wireless to behave like it's 2020, not 1997. But which was when we last played together, I think. Funnily enough, roughly. I'm hanging on in there. We're within 5 minutes now. Yeah, I mean, I was going to point that out, actually, Gnome, that was a fantastic tackle there by Cresswell to regain possession just prior to that superb move. Probably the best move, I think, Pinky, we've seen in the entire game from both sides, probably.
For sure. As I say, the shot had come in, you know, a yard either side of the keeper. It's in the net and would have been, for us, goal of the season. So good one-touch stuff. And, you know, to be fair, we're playing the game in the right part of the field at the moment, which with 5 minutes remaining is encouraging. You know, can we go in and nick it? I'm not so sure we can, but whatever happens, do not lose this West Ham.
Yeah, very, very important at this point of the game. Just touching quickly on the forum, Kit the Car says Yarmo and Souček are linking up well, and Maka believes that Yarmolenko should be starting every remaining match for us. I think perhaps Rio, we're enjoying the impact he's making from the bench, aren't we, at the moment? Would you advocate bringing him in to start the next game, or would you leave him where he is?
I think I'd certainly start him the next game just to give Antonio a rest.
Yeah.
Because Antonio, as Pinky said, he's looking incredibly leggy. He's done a lot of work over the last 2 games, and he's struggling.
Yeah.
So we just had a chance there. Souček just lifted it over the bar, but we're in the opposition penalty box and we're again creating our options.
Gnome, are West Ham trying to win this game now?
It looks like it, yeah. I mean, it was one of these things where the ball wasn't really coming down. Souček did well to get any sort of shot in. The hands went up to say it flicked off a player. I don't think it did for a corner. I mentioned my best mate, Dave, who's the Geordie lad. We used to play football together years ago for Midland Bank. And we had a skipper, sadly no longer with us, Pete Foster, would always say, let's play in their half. They can't score in their half. And this is one of those occasions where, okay, we might not get a win out of this, but if you've got it deep in their half, let's keep them in there, because the moment the least we'll get is a draw.
Yeah, absolutely right. No arguments there.
16 attempts to 11 is the tally according to the stat that's just come up on screen.
Yes, possession-wise, Newcastle, surprisingly, with 58% to West Ham's 42. I'm not sure I would have guessed at that if I'd been asked to, given what we've seen in the game so far, but there you go. West Ham, yes, 7 shots on target to Newcastle's 4 so far. Pinky, we've got to be happy with that, haven't we?
Where we are in the speed of the season, any kind of attacking intent or any kind of competitiveness in the game,
well played by Rice.
Dark days of November and end of October, November, and into December.
Yep.
8 games.
We have another corner
like that with Roberto in goal. So I said it last week. That's when the damage was done to our season.
Yeah.
And ever since then, it's just been damage limitation, try and stay in the division. Okay,
we have another set piece. Rio, talk us through it.
Yeah, well work move. Bowen forced the corner. It's going to be Gnomes who takes it, which always leads me to think it's going nowhere.
It won't beat. Yeah, will it beat the first player?
Yeah. So let's flip a coin, gents, while we're waiting. I'm going tails. No, it's not going to beat the first man.
The clock seems to have reset.
It's beat everybody. Jesus. So I've gone to set it back to Antonio. It's worked its way out to the right-hand side now. Back in the centre. Oh, what's crossing? Newcastle clear. It's all right, actually. We put it back in. Bowen just couldn't get hold of it. Let's pay that to nothing. But no, it's killing time. We're asking the questions. It's killing time. A point's a good point.
Yeah. Well, the clock's disappeared on my screen, by the way. It seemed to reset to 0 and then disappear completely. So I think they're using ground internet connection.
No, don't worry about it. Yeah.
So I've got no idea how long's left now. So
I think time is up now. It's got to be up.
There's a couple of minutes in this yet.
Yeah, well, yeah, there'd be like injury time. I think the 90 minutes has gone. So many ref ads on now. But let's just keep our shape, keep our composure, and just not lapse.
Yes.
Yeah, looking for Carroll.
Looking for Carroll long ball, which is dealt with comfortably. And we're moving away on the break. This is
We've got this. We've got this.
We don't know what the time is because, as Gnome says, the clock's completely disappeared.
They said they did 4 minutes.
They've got an hourglass somewhere, but the sand's got stuck or something.
It's at the top of the away end. It'll take 4 minutes to get up there.
Yeah.
Use the lift. It's always the one.
That's in the lift.
I always live there so that I can use the lift. They can let me allow.
If you walk, it'll be about 4 hours.
Yeah.
Always take one of those asthma pucker things with you to Newcastle away, and just say to the guy on the lift, "I've got asthma,"
I normally
And,
take Chris Bonington.
I just walk with a limp.
I don't know if anyone can still hear me.
Yeah, we can still hear you.
Good stuff. I seem to have frozen on the screen, but I am still here.
Yeah.
Watching in. We're in the closing seconds. We think.
The clock's back. We've got 4 minutes of added time, and we're 91 minutes into the game. So another just under 3 minutes left now. So at least we know. So let's just keep our shape, as we say. Newcastle sort of having the possession at the moment, but we're keeping them sort of playing it across the halfway line effectively and across the defence. Yeah, we just need to be sensible.
The ball in their half, they can't score.
Yeah.
So all good so far. We are in the last couple of minutes. West Ham
Well,
are hanging on here.
Still.
Not really hanging on. They're actually looking good. It's a good point, I think, if we can hang on, Pinky, so far.
Cresswell's done well in the second half with these diagonal balls where they're played in the air, and he's won the ones in the air. So let's say a little bit. He's off the malign, but he's had a good second half, I think, Cresswell.
Yeah, good stuff. Pinky, back to you.
yeah, I mean, I think Newcastle have basically, they're looking like they've settled for the point now.
Yeah.
And I think a point apiece would be a fair result today. And for us, of the two clubs, I'd say we'd be happier with that. 4 points from those two games, Chelsea at home and Newcastle away. Any West Ham fan would have taken that before that sequence. And
We'll play the game, Cresswell, penned in by the corner flag. He's got himself. I think he's got us a goal kick there.
Okay, just interestingly, coming in there, if Newcastle had won today, they would have gone level on points with Tottenham in 10th place. So, there's a big carrot for them in terms of, wanting to win this game. But as Pinky says, I don't think is Rio. Is it so much that they haven't looked bothered, or is it just we've not really given them the opportunity to do so?
I think we've actually played this game really well. Like we managed it really well. Tick the second half. Also, who wants to be associated with Tottenham? Who wants to be in the same points as them? Forget them. Just forget them.
To be fair, Rio, at this point in time, I think I'd settle for
it. Burnley, of course, are ahead of Spurs now with their win earlier in 9th place. But yeah, Newcastle 12th at the moment. It's not going to change their position. A point will keep them in 12th, a point below. So we don't care about Newcastle. We don't care about Tottenham or even Burnley or what's happening in that boring mid-table zone. I mean, you might as well be top or bottom. At least you've got something to play for at the end of the season. And West Ham have really begun to... No, go on.
No, I'm just saying, let's see this out. We've got the last few. So, in fact, 3 seconds early, according to Sky's clock, which has been a bit unreliable, the referee blows the final whistle. Newcastle 2, West Ham 2. Well-earned point. Really, to a certain degree, a couple of points thrown away with that equaliser so quickly after we'd gone ahead. But happy with that. Happy with the performance by and large. A few spells where we weren't that great, but Dave, if you're watching, proffers the usual handshake. For the last 30-40 years, after every West Ham Newcastle game, win, lose or draw, we always shake each other's hand and then go and get ratted. But that's going to happen tonight. But no, happy with that point. It says how much we've improved over the last 2 games that we're slightly disappointed it's not 3.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's good, isn't it? It's been a great week for West Ham, Pinky. If we'd have been offered 4 points this time last week for 2 games, home to Chelsea and away to Newcastle, I don't think any West Ham fan would have not taken that. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we're all a little disappointed because it's not 6 points from 6. And obviously Fornals won't play in the next game because he'll still be walking back from Newcastle, and he should be. Let's not have all this win as a team, lose as a team sort of soft namby-pamby stuff. He's a professional footballer. He's switched off, and he's cost the team 2 valuable points here. And if you think of being harsh on him, just imagine if we get relegated by a point. Just what happens then. and he's just gone to sleep, and he should be absolutely slaughtered by his manager in private on Monday morning and just said, "Wake up, son. It's not good enough. It's not good enough in this league."
Not good enough, says Pinky. Rio, would you go along with that from Fornals?
It's a lapse of concentration. He's had a great game. Defending is not his forte, is it? He's a creative player. He's playing far deeper than he should be. It's not his natural game. It's just, it's a lapse of concentration. It's cost us dear today, but it's a point. It's a really respectable point away from home, a difficult place to play. You've got to be happy with that.
Let me spin it. Alex Ferguson's the manager. The club's Manchester United, and a player does that, and it costs you winning the title or a Champions League place or something. Yeah. What's Fergie going to do with the player? And it's that mentality that I'm getting at, whereby, we're going, oh, okay, not to worry, we've got a point. That's 2 points just chucked away there. And that's the story of West Ham United. Right there. We've got ourselves into a winning position. We've done everything right. We've made the tactical changes the managers, pushed through. He's got Souček, who he's clearly putting a lot of faith in, up into the box, gets the goal. And then Fornals, the £24 million signing, count it, £24 million, and he costs us because he's switched off. Not at all happy.
Not good enough, not happy, says Pinky. Some fair points there. Before we take a quick look at the bottom of the Premier League, I should point out that we have our first 5-pointer in the KUMB Mod Pod Prediction League. Bristol Hammer, who is absent this afternoon, predicted a 2-2 draw. So, Briz, well done, buddy. 5
it doesn't count if he's not here, does it?
5 points, the first correct scoreline predicted in the 4 games that we've been doing this for. So, Briz, by the time I've worked out the table, I'm sure you're going to be right at the top of it as a result of that. The Premier League table, however, is the more important one right now. And West Ham haven't moved up or down as a result of today's 2-2 draw. We are, however, on to 31 points from 33 games, still with a goal difference of -18. That is 5 goals better than Watford, who we face this week, and 3 points ahead of Watford. More importantly, we are now 4 points clear of the relegation zone. Norwich, we're now 10 points away from Norwich, who sadly seemed doomed to the drop. Bournemouth and Aston Villa, however, are still fighting for their lives, although you might not think that, having witnessed some of their recent performances, Bournemouth especially. But most importantly, West Ham are 4 points clear of both now and have what I would say is a considerably better goal difference, 6 goals better than Aston Villa, -18 compared to -24, and 9 goals better than Bournemouth, who are -27. So I think it was Pinky last week who rightly pointed out that having a goal difference of that superiority is essentially worth another point. So Gnome, 4 points clear and with a much better goal difference. It's been a really good week for West Ham, hasn't it? We're looking a lot better.
Yeah, certainly better place than this time last week. Anyway, we were not happy people, were we? But I mean, the Bournemouth result yesterday it was almost, from their point of view, that was almost like losing 2 games.
Yeah.
Or getting -point for a defeat. What have we got? We got Burnley midweek, isn't it? And Watford at the weekend. I think a win and a draw from those, and we'll be pretty much there or thereabouts.
Good stuff. Again, gentlemen, I hope you can hear me. Because I'm up and down. I can't say what I was going to say.
I'm just going to say something I've just got an issue they never have on Soccer Saturday. I pop upstairs to the loo, so I'll catch up with you in a minute. I'll leave you with that.
Okay. I think what I'm going to do actually is, shall we just call an end to this stream, guys, and come back in about 5 minutes if you want to continue, if that's all right with everyone, so I can just try and sort out my wireless issues, because it's going to be difficult kind of chairing a discussion if that's the case. If that's so, are we all good to come back in 5 minutes? Rio, Pinky, Gnome?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It does me a favour as well.
All right, okay. Go and have a quick wee and get yourselves a drink, and I'll
see you in 5 then.
and I'll add the live stream to the forum so everyone can join us again. Apologies everyone for the difficulties with the wireless connection today, but we will be back very, very shortly. See you again in just a moment.